a while because my computer's been broken, but now it's fixed. And so I've been giving it a lot of thought as to what we should talk about next. And one of the things that I was thinking about is gambling addiction. I don't know why I haven't thought about that in discussing it. So anyway, here goes. Gambling addiction is no different than any other addictive behavior. The only difference is that it's harder to detect because it's not something you're ingesting. And so a lot of times, by the time family members or significant others find the gambler in the midst of their addictive behavior, they're pretty financially underwater. And so a lot of times they have a desire to commit suicide or do other major acts because they're in such desperate measures of wanting out. So anyway, let's talk about gambling addiction. So how do you know if you have a gambling problem? Because that's another thing that people always ask when they walk in the door. Because if I get a free mailer from the casinos and I'm going down and I'm just gambling with their money, I'm not affecting anybody, right? I mean, no big deal. It's like free money, it's from the casinos. Well, if it starts affecting aspects of your life, such as relationships, your job, physically it's affecting you, like having insomnia, anxiety, depression, etc. It's affecting you financially, where eventually you're not able to pay for your bills because you're taking your money and you are placing bets instead of paying for your bills. There is a problem, so to speak. If you start lying to family and friends to cover up about why you've been MIA for 8 hours or more because you were at the casino or at the supermarket playing slot machines instead of being at home, or because you were not at work because you're at the casinos, there is a problem, right? So anyway, let's go over the diagnostic criteria for pathological gambling. So it's saying the gambler is preoccupied with gambling. So they're continuously reliving past gambling experiences. They're continuously talking about it. Like, when I had this good streak of luck and I won that $10,000 and I went back and I started playing that. It was so cool. They relived that euphoric rush that they had. And they continue to think of ways on how to go back and get that money. That's one of the things they talk about. The gambler needs to gamble with increasing amounts of money in order to achieve the same desired excitement. So they need more money to get the same effect, kind of thing. The gambler has had repeated unsuccessful attempts to control, cut back, or stop gambling. So in other words, they've tried numerous times to stop and failed, kind of deal. The gambler is resistant, restless, or irritable when attempting to cut back or stop gambling. Interesting, right? So they have withdrawal symptoms. Who knew? Like, people will actually have withdrawal symptoms where some of them have the shakes, some of them have depression, anxiety, insomnia. So interesting. The gambler uses gambling as a way to escape from problems, and will try to utilize that to get rid of the dysphoric mood. So in other words, they are using gambling as a way to escape from guilt, from anxiety, from depression. You know, they use gambling just as a way to escape from anything. You know, it takes away the time, etc. After losing money, the gambler often returns another day to get even. So chasing. I know I can make back that money, don't you worry. In their mind, they're thinking that, so they go back another day. The gambler lies to family members and other people to conceal the extent. So they're always trying to minimize how much they're really gambling. So they'll say, I only played $200 when maybe they played $2,000 or their whole paycheck kind of thing. The gambler has committed illegal acts such as forgery, fraud, theft, or embezzlement to finance his gambling. So, you know, obviously they go at great lengths to obtain money so that they can go ahead and continue their addictive behavior. I mean, what addict hasn't done that, or have gone to great means to obtain their behavior or substance of choice, of course. The gambler has jeopardized or lost a significant relationship, job, or educational or career opportunity because of gambling. Okay, you know, obviously addictive behavior takes a toll and will start affecting relationships, jobs, etc. The gambler relies on others to provide money to relieve a desperate financial situation caused by gambling. Yes, they start utilizing, you know, other people, start asking people for money because they're in such dire straits, and they realize, oh my gosh, I can't pay for, you know, my utility bill because I've spent all my money. So now they start asking friends, families, family members, whatever, so that they can pay for their, you know, electric bill, pay for their rent, whatever they need, so that they can, you know, continue to survive, so to speak. So the thing to remember with gambling addiction, like how I said, is that a lot of times by the time significant others find out, it's usually when a notice is on the door and, you know, there's collectors calling, etc. And there's such uh, guilt and shame associated with that. You know, a lot of times there is desperation in the person who has the gambling addiction, and they feel like there's no way out, and so they'll do desperate attempts to get out of that. And a lot of times you'll hear people statistically, they have a higher risk of suicide attempts because they feel like they've affected their entire family's situation, living situation, a lot of times, and they feel like they don't know what else to do with themselves. So what kind of treatment is out there? What can they do? How can they change this behavior? Same thing like with any other addictive behavior, of course. There's treatment available out there. There's support groups out there called Gamblers Anonymous that they can start attending if they want to try support groups. There's online support groups, of course, if they're not ready to go to the support groups that's available in their community. There's individual treatment facilities, and of course, there's individual counseling. All you have to do is call your insurance provider and they can get you to the right people. There's all kinds of different things that you can start doing. Of course, first and foremost is you need to come to an acceptance that you have a problem, and you have to admit that you have a problem so that you can start taking the steps that you need to make a difference and start creating change. That's the first thing you need to do. Before I leave, one thing to remember now is that gambling is just not putting a bet in a casino or online with some of these poker sites and stuff like that. Remember, gambling includes lotto tickets, it includes the scratchers, it includes the stock market, because you're gambling, right? You're betting against the odds. Horse racing, all those kinds of things. Also betting with friends and family. I bet you I can beat you at golf. I can beat you at the card game we're playing right now. I bet I can, you know, when we go shopping today, I can get more sales than you, and get more discount coupons than you. All those little tiny things is still gambling because what you're looking for is the euphoric rush out of that. That's what it is. It's the euphoric rush out of that. So anyway, keep that in mind when you are getting into a recovery program, that yeah, you may stop betting at a casino or putting money in a machine, but you can still continue the behavior in other areas. So just be very aware and cognizant of that when you get into a recovery program. So until next week, everybody, if you have questions or concerns, you can always email, comment, etc. And let me know if you need any more information in that sense. But until next week, be well, everybody, and always live in perfect light and perfect truth. Aloha.